Hi friends, welcome back. Today, you're going to continue learning about the freedom of speech and court trials that happened within New York regarding the freedom of speech. More specifically, what the press can and cannot publish. So yesterday, we talked all about John Peter Zenger and that his trial allowed for the freedom of the press to print information that was true and their opinion. Today, my friends, we're going to go and read about New York Times versus Sullivan. And we're going to see what were the facts of the case, what was the outcome of the case, and why was the outcome of the case important. We're going to have to revisit as well our freedom of the press graphic organizer from yesterday. So the first thing you're going to do, my friends, is you're going to read all about the court case. And I want you to really think about this court case really deeply, because this is not happening so long ago when John Peter Zenger's was occurring. This is happening in the 1960s. So a little bit further back, but not so long ago. So it's the civil rights movement, and we learned a little bit about civil rights already in this year. You're going to read all about what's happening for the civil rights leaders in New York and what's happening as they're publishing information. So you see what's happening with L.B. Sullivan versus the New York Times, which is a newspaper in New York. It's a big newspaper in New York. So once you finish reading through all of your information and what happens, you're going to think and reflect on who is a public official versus who is a public figure. And so let's do that together. Public officials, politicians, high-ranking government officials, government employees who have significant control over government affairs. So think of like our mayor, maybe a city councilman, maybe our governor, maybe a high-ranking government official, politicians. You could talk about a senator or people who are making laws in the government versus a public figure, movie stars, elite professional athletes, heads of major corporations, people who are well known in a particular field. Then we're going to return back to our freedom of the press graphic organizer. So once you're finished reading all about the New York Times versus Sullivan, you're going to go back to that graphic organizer. So let's revisit it right now. Here's my graphic organizer from yesterday. And I have my information in here from yesterday from John Peter Zenger. So that was 1733. So now we're revisiting the New York Times Company versus Sullivan, 1964. So this is occurring 230 years later. 231 to be exact. Let's see if things have changed. So the first question that we're going to come to is what happened? So for the New York Times Company versus Sullivan, what happened in the court case? What was the outcome of the case? And why was this outcome important? So let me show you my example from yesterday for John Peter Zenger if you're feeling a little stuck. What happened for John Peter Zenger? John Peter Zenger was accused of libel, which meant at the time he published information that went against the government. He printed information that went against the corrupt royal governor, William Cosby. His lawyer, Andrew Hamilton, said that Zenger printed the articles but didn't write them. But they were true, even though he didn't write them. What was the outcome of the case? The jury decided that John Peter Zenger was innocent, not guilty. Why was this important? So I think that it's important for John Peter Zenger that this trial helped give the press power to publish news and information that was true, that maybe they were too afraid to publish previously. If they went against someone powerful, they might have been put on trial like John Peter Zenger. Although true freedom of the press was not known until the passage of the First Amendment, newspaper publishers felt freer to print their honest views. So I took that quote from the text just to back up my point that they were kind of afraid to publish anything. So, my friends, after reading today, of the New York Times Company versus Sullivan, I want you to think, did things change 231 years later? What happened for this court case? What was the outcome? Who was guilty? Who was innocent? And why is this important for the freedom of the press? We've been talking about this now for the past couple weeks about freedom of the press and the First Amendment, what it means to have free speech. I can't wait to see your answers today, friends, and all the great things that you reflect upon for the New York Times Company versus Sullivan. Bye for now.